you know, you got to come down and get tires. Just way too long out there on tires. But I chose Ford just because I absolutely killed my stuff about 3 laps prior to that caution coming out, so I knew that was our only chance.
I was dreading that restart because I knew, you know, I got a pack of wolves behind me. Joey was all over me, and, you know, I was just trying to figure out which way he was going to.
As he takes the checkered flag in the Duck Commander 500.
It's our Tuesday edition of NASCAR America. This is crew chief Frank Stoddard. I'm Rick Allen, and joining us from our NBC Charlotte studio is Jeff Burton. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great. Hope you guys are.
We are. Today on the show, we go in depth with Monday's race from Texas. We'll talk with Chase Elliott, and we scan all 43. Let's start off, though, by populating the Challenger round of the Chase grid, adding our 7th different winner in 7 races. So Joey Logano goes near the top of this list.
Rick, this can easily go to 8 this weekend. Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, all 4 of the most prolific names in the sport have yet to win this year.
Yeah, there's no question. Those guys are most likely going to win races, but I still stand by my pre-year prediction. It's not going to 16 winners. I really don't believe it is. So those guys that haven't won, points still matter, man. You got to race, get the best finishes you can, because you can get yourself in a chase by being high up in points. You
did say that the very first show, that points still are going to matter. Jeff, I want to stay with you. Let's go back to Texas. How about the last lap pass by Joey Logano?
Well, you know, honestly, he had the best car. He had the best tires. He was in the catbird seat. He didn't mess it up. He took advantage of his opportunity. But, you know, more importantly than that, big picture-wise, Joey's become the driver that a lot of people thought he could. It never really happened to Joe Gibbs racing. He won a lot of nationwide races, but and by the way, so has Kyle Busch. But at the nationwide level, it just hasn't happened. Now that he's at Penske, he's showing that he can do it. He made the chase last year. He's going to make the chase this year. He's turned into a real championship contender.
How about his teammate, Brad Keselowski? Let's talk about him. Final pit stop, Brad Keselowski up toward the front, speeding on pit road.
Yeah, Rick, you know what? I don't think if he hadn't won the race earlier this year in Las Vegas, I don't think he gets this pit road speeding penalty. I think that he probably puts himself in a chance to win the race. But because he's already got that win under his belt, and because of the new chase format, he went ahead and tried to get a little bit more to really make sure he beat his teammate possibly out of the pits, or Jeff Gordon out of the pits. And it's just a crucial mistake, but I think only because he had that win in Las Vegas did he do that.
Jeff, let's stay on the speeding situation here, and we have Denny Hamlin doing the same thing on lap 141. He was actually leading, gets called for speeding.
Same thing, but at a completely different time of the race. This is the time of the race where you got to come on pit road, be aggressive, but it's okay with the lead and a pretty decent lead to not get everything you can. It's hard as a driver because you know how hard your pit crews are working. You know the time and effort and energy they're putting into it. If you don't get it done, it's the same as them not getting it done. But this is the time to be a little conservative.
And he did apologize to his pit crew. He said he'd been riding their coattails all year, and he should have let them make up time for him instead of him trying to make it up. All right. Let's transition over to Dale Earnhardt Jr. At the start of the race, he tried to take a little bit of a shortcut, but obviously that didn't work.
Yeah, he really wasn't trying to make a shortcut out of this thing, Rick. I mean, he just got blocked behind the 43. As he said afterwards, his vision wasn't that great with the A-post and so forth. And the way these cars are so low on the racetrack, if you get off into that soft grass, it's like a shovel, and it just knocks the nose off.
And he definitely dug up some dirt from that racetrack. All right, how about his teammate, Jeff? Jimmy Johnson. Innocent bystander standing or driving behind him. He gets the turf and the mud that comes up and hits his car.
Well, as if Junior doesn't feel bad enough already, right? Not only did he take himself out, he also affected his teammates. So that's the way things typically go. But, you know, listen, I'm not going to feel too bad for the 48 and those guys. They're going to be just fine. They've led a lot of laps this year. They're going to lead some more laps, and they're going to get some. What are we looking at here?
Well, they're going to have better luck. This was what Jimmy Johnson posted on Instagram. He said, "Figures. With the luck I had today, I'd get stuck behind this guy." So obviously not a Smooth
Well,
ride
you
for
know,
him.
look at it like this. They didn't fall off the trailer onto his vehicle, so it was a little bit of good luck.
It actually wasn't bad luck, like Kevin Harvick has had. Kevin Harvick has had bad luck with the exception of the one win at Phoenix.
He has, and you know, some of the luck I think has been their own doing. I think at Bristol when he blew the right front tire, it was already rubbing. But again, because he had the win, I think they continue to try to catch a caution and didn't catch the caution and then caused themselves a lot more problems. Now, the thing they've got to really start to think about is making sure that they don't try to do these types of things in the chase. If they continue with this type of mentality of trying to go for broke when they get to the chase, then it could be a problem.
So Kevin Harvick has a win. Kurt Busch also has a win, but man, he had problems the whole weekend, Jeff.
Yeah, and coming off a Martinsville win, you really want to back that up with a good, solid finish. And honestly, they never really had the speed all weekend, and then they continually have these tire issues. You know, the thing about these tire issues, you know, they were really the only team having them. So they've got to go back and look at themselves and say, what are we doing? I mean, what can we do? They need to take ownership in it, not just point the finger at Goodyear. They need to take ownership in it for several reasons. Number one, it hurts their opportunities to win races. Number two, man, you're going, you know, 190, 195 mile an hour. You don't need to be blowing tires. So they need to take a look and say, what can we do better as a race team to prevent those kind of things from happening?
All right, the final restart. Did Jeff Gordon make a mistake in lane selection for this final restart?
Rick, I think they made a tactical error. You know, the leader of the race has the choice to go on the bottom or the top, as we're showing on that graphic right there, okay? Had he moved like that graphic is showing right there to the top on the restart, look at the gap that he has on the 18 car going into turn one. The 22 would then be picked behind Brian Vickers and probably not clear the 55 until down the back straightaway, maybe into turn three. It gives Jeff Gordon at least 3/4 of an extra lap to worry about getting away from the pack a little bit.
So Jeff Gordon decides to go with 2 tires. It helps him out as far as a pretty impressive second-place finish. Another driver who gambled on the last stop and took 2 tires was Brian Vickers. After starting 23rd, it was a team effort to get him up into the top 5 at the end of the day. So an impressive finish. You know, after a rough start to the season, Brian Vickers and the 55 team have turned things around. Over the last 4 races, Vickers has 3 top 10 finishes. His 9th place average is tied with Tony Stewart for the 3rd best in the series. Our Kelly Stavis is at Michael Waltrip Racing with Vickers crew chief Billy Scott.
Rick, there's been so much talk about the talented group of rookie drivers this season, but there's another group of rookies making a lot of noise. Crew chiefs. First it was Daniel Canoes getting the win with Kurt Busch at Martinsville, and now it's Billy Scott knocking on the door to victory lane with his driver, Brian Vickers. And yesterday in Texas, you got a 4th place finish. It came down to strategy, taking 2 tires instead of 4 for that green-white checkers. Is that the first real high-pressure call you've had to make as crew chief?
It is, pretty much, and interestingly enough, I was asked that exact question last week in our pre-event stuff, getting ready for this week. And I told them that, you know, for the most part, the 55 team has had a pretty clear-cut decision on pit road, whether we need to take 2 or 4. And kind of knew the moment I said it then that it was going to come down to something like this. So karma definitely got the best of us.
Well, take me through the moments leading up to make that decision. What was your thought process, and how nervous were you to make that call?
It really started when we made the last green flag stop before that. We then had, you know, enough fuel and tires to make it to the end. So then our race engineer, Brandon Pope, and I started immediately talking about what the options were. And then as soon as I told Brian, caution came out and said, you know, we're thinking about doing 2 here. And he said 10-4. I pretty much made my mind up.
Well, it certainly paid dividends. Talking about your background, you have been a racer first on motorcycles and in stock cars growing up before you got your engineering degree. How does that combination in your background help you as a crew chief?
A little bit. It gives you some perspective on what they're facing, you know, what they have to deal with, and you know, what they mean when they use some of the terminology. But also just from the competition side. From the time I was, you know, 5 years old, I've pretty much been used to competing and focused on winning, so it just carries over.
Last year, Brian Vickers ran just 17 races with his 55 team, but he still managed to pull out a win. What does that say about him as a driver and to overcome adversity?
Well, yeah, that's very impressive, for sure. And he has had plenty of adversity to deal with, and it's been a pretty amazing story, really, his comeback. And glad to have been a part of that last year as the race engineer. We got his first, you know, win back, and he's really he's taken a leadership role in this team from the start. Even the first year when he only ran, I think, 8 races with us, he was very much a part of this team, very involved with all the guys, and was very clear that, this was his team, this is where he wanted to be, and supportive of all of us. So it's been great.
All right, well, as we head to Darlington, Billy Scott looking to become the next rookie crew chief to get his first win.
Thanks, Kelly. We look forward to great things out of Billy Scott. Well, on Friday, Chase Elliott became the second youngest winner in Nationwide Series history. We'll chat with him next. And still to come, we'll go from car to car in our Scan All 43.
Oh, the jet dryer just blew my hood up. I got some pretty big hood damage right here. Careful that don't get too close to the dryer. Sometimes they can mess the bodywork up a little bit.
Yeah, that first red one on the backstretch got me pretty good that first time by.
Here comes Joey Logano, home for in Texas.
Joey Logano will survive a late race caution and win for the first time here at Texas Motor Speedway as he takes the checkered flag in the Duck Commander 500.
Joey Logano had to go back and earn it the hard way, and he did just that.
Awesome job out there, road.
We had made that decision ahead of time. We were coming for 4. And even if we were leading a race, I felt like with the fall-off we had today that I'd rather have Joey playing offense and defense.
My name's Colin Fambro. I'm the rear tire changer for Joey Logano in the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. We made the chase!
And, of course, we want to recognize the work of the 22 pit crew led by crew chief Todd Gordon, front tire changer Thomas Hatcher, front tire carrier Dylan Dowell, rear tire changer Colin Fambro, we just saw him shoot in victory lane. Rear tire carrier Larry Robinette, gas man Kellen Mills, and jackman Ray Gallahan. Joey posted a pic of he and his team on his Instagram account. How about that? Celebrating in victory lane from Texas. Another celebration this weekend from Texas was young Chase Elliott in the nationwide race on Friday night. After an impressive pass on Kevin Harvick, Chase goes on to get his first career nationwide win, and congratulations from his peers. Now joining us on the phone is 18-year-old Chase Elliott. First off, congratulations, Chase.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Hey, are you surprised by the success that you've had already?
Well, that's one thing. For me, and at least the way I look at it is, and I've told a lot of people this too, we went into this season and the group and the guys that I was paired with and Greg Ives and his group that he put together, those guys know how to win races, and they're an experienced bunch, and, they're a really, really good group of guys. And, they know how to win races, and I definitely knew that it's kind of up to me to get the job done for them and give them the information they need for us to do that. So it's been great. The communication has been really good to this point. I definitely feel like there's still a lot of room for improvement in that aspect, and hopefully we can keep trying to get a little better at it.
As somebody who's grown up in the sport, are you racing against your heroes out there on the track?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that was, I look back this past weekend, and I feel like one of the coolest experiences I've ever been in was after that race, and on the way to victory lane, a lot of guys stopped to shake my hand. A lot of guys we were racing that night, and that meant the world to me. I thought that was one of the coolest things ever. So really, really cool to race against those guys that I've grown up watching and pulling for, and having a lot of respect for. So it's been fun to be able to do that every week so far this year, and hopefully we can keep doing that throughout the rest of the season.
All right, let's put this thing into perspective. You win the race on Friday night in Texas. You go back home, and you have to go to school on Monday. You're still in high school. Do your high school classmates look at you any differently?
No, I don't think so. I feel like for me, I've had a really good atmosphere to come home to. I've got some really good buddies that, have been supportive of what I do and watch on the weekends, and I've just about turned them into NASCAR fans. So I feel like it's been cool to come home to that. And, for me, going to school Monday is a typical Monday morning. Nobody likes going to school or work on Monday. So that was, I was in the same boat as everybody else.
Well, it looked like a great family win for you. I know your dad and your mom were there in victory lane with you. Congratulations on the win, and good luck in Darlington.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And just want to say thanks to Napa and all they do for us. Is awesome to have them aboard this year, and hopefully we can have a good rest of the season for them.
Good stuff, Chase. All right, Jeff, we've got a young driver here. He's got Hendrick backing. Is the sky endless for this kid?
No question. Solid young man from a solid family, raised the right way, learned how to do things at the lower level of racing the right way. This guy has a great future ahead of him.
All right. Well, the changing track conditions proved tough all weekend for newcomers and veterans alike. Up next, we'll listen in on the action from Monday's Texas race in our Scan All 43.
I can't see. My windshield is completely hammered. Got a big dent in my windshield from something. I have to pit. Both windshield braces are pushed in.
Get to DraftKings.com now and use promo code HIT to play and get free entry.
For 40 years, the Verizon IndyCar Series has been burning rubber at Long Beach. Don't miss the excitement of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, Sunday, 4 Eastern, only on NBCSN. Well, it's time to jump inside the car or climb on top of the pit box or head up to the spotter stand as we relive the Texas race from the scanners in our Scan All 43. After Mother Nature washed out Texas Sunday afternoon, Cup drivers prepared for what would be a rare and wacky Monday start.
Oh, the jet dryer just blew my hood off. I got some pretty big hood damage right here. Be careful that you don't get too close to the dryer. Sometimes they can mess the bodywork up a little bit.
Yeah, that first red one on the backstretch got me pretty good that first time by.
2 and the 31 can come down, reset their flaps, we'll give them the positions back.
51's reporting brake flap up 2. Down to towers, same thing on the 10.
Reset them, be done with them. We'll give you a spot back there, that's all you do.
We will have run 10 under green and yellow, and we'll go green-green.
Have some fun, you fools, today.
Now the green flag is waving at Texas. Tony Stewart gets a good jump on the inside, but Keselowski draws alongside in turn 1.
Against the outside wall, and it is the machine of Dale Earnhardt Jr. displaying a horrendous amount of flames.
Get low if you can. Come on low. Start working your way low. Work your way low. One more car. Come on down. Come on down. Turn left. Stop fire. Get out. I can't see. My windshield is completely hammered. Got a big dent in my windshield from something. I have to pit. Both windshield braces are pushed in.
He just drove into the grass and ripped the nose right off the car. Note to self, don't touch the grass. Guys, I don't give a how many guys would get over the wall. Get over there and clean it. Get over there and clean it.
Too many men over the wall, 48. Yeah, I got a longer list of penalties from the 48.
Clear, go. From an aerodynamic standpoint, that windshield moving in is not going to hurt us as long as it doesn't affect you too badly.
I just don't want to be wearing it.
Yeah, well.
Kevin Harvick may have a problem.
Blew up. Well, water temp started going up. The power steering went out and blew up.
A lot of guys starting to wag the tail up off both ends pretty hard now.
Not as bad as Vegas, but we're pretty sad. Got banana peels underneath all 4 tires, no grip.
I did a little bit. Check me out, Chip. Couldn't see the fence behind the 18. Really slipping and sliding.
You lose the nose, it just goes away.
Now let's get back in our rhythm. Let's get our speed back here.
Trying. I really am trying.
That's the problem.
Okay, let me work on that.
On a flat left rear. Flat left rear.
Kurt Busch's problem looks like left rear tires.
10-4 on the 4 round. Oh, I don't care if you put this thing down 10 rounds. What I'm worried about is how the hell we're blowing left rears and nobody else is.
Brad says he'll take the top if you let him down.
Go to the race.
Logano gets a great jump on the outside. He may take the lead.
The Penske posse rides into turn 1. Joey Logano drives down to the bottom of the racetrack, right in front of teammate Brad Keselowski.
Yes, sir. Looking good there. Good by 8. Hey, that's pretty damn good. I'm keeping an eye on those guys, but you're steadily pulling away, man. They're watching you.
Joey Logano took a commanding lead, and as laps ticked away, no one had anything. But when Kurt Busch's tire issues continued with 2 laps to go, it would change everything.
Got a little trouble. Watch him to come across the track. Still green.
And we're going to have caution on the racetrack.
Are you cautious? What the wow. Did the leader get the white?
No.
Wow. Unbelievable. All right, you got to tell me what to do here.
We got to count. 4 tires.
Right, guys. Right side. All the way.
All the way, all the way, all the way. Dig. Hard. Beat him.
Tell me somebody else took 2.
2 tires on both cars in front of us.
All right, man. Here we go.
Jeff Gordon gets the jump on the restart as the green flag comes out.
Jeff Gordon rides up the racetrack. He blocks Joey Logano. Now Logano cuts inside.
It's just you and him.
At the stripe, it's a dead heat. 1 lap to go at Texas.
The 22 out front for the final time down the backstretch.
Joey Logano will survive a late race caution and win.
We got it done. We got it done.
Hell yeah. Woo!
Four tires make it work for Joey Logano as he gets his 4th career win at Texas. Well, short tracks are alive and well in the heart of racing. Prior to Joey Logano winning at big tracks like Texas Motor Speedway, he dominated the Bandoleros and Legends divisions on the short tracks of Atlanta Motor Speedway in Hampton, Georgia, and Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. This day in NASCAR, 1969, Bobby Isaac wins the first of 4 straight races at Greenville-Pickens Speedway. In 1990, Davey Allison edged Mark Martin by 8 inches at Bristol.
I was following a 43 and just didn't see the grass, didn't know the grass was down there that close. With the way the A-post is in these cars, you can't really see that good to that angle, so I really didn't have a good visual where the grass was, and just got down in there pretty good. That's awful. You can't run through there the way we got these cars on the ground like that, and just a mistake on my part. I just didn't know I was that close to the grass, and just made a mistake.
All right, Frank, I want to break down what happened. I mean, is this normal that when you go into the grass, you're going to completely tear your car apart?
It's more prevalent on the COT cars, Rick. Ever since we went to these COT cars, you see how low we run them to the ground. And if you look there, on the way the front edge of it sticks out from the front valence, okay, it actually works as a scoop, if you will. And you watch Dale Jr. here, how low the car is. I mean, just an inch into the grass right there, man, it's just going to dig in.
It did dig in, and it brought up a lot of turf and a lot of mud. That actually affected his teammate who was behind him in Jimmy Johnson.
It did. You know, Jimmy Johnson had a lot of problems from that wreck. If you watch right here, huge chunk of rubber came up. It looks like a part of the tire or something. Hit the windshield brace, which really wasn't a big deal other than maybe a little bit of sight line for him. He was a little bit nervous about it, I'm sure, thinking it was going to cave in. But these Lexian windshields are so strong, and the shape is held so well in them that the braces are really just there more for a little bit of dampening and, you know, vibration stuff.
And the windshield wasn't shattered there. That was actually the tear-offs that had pulled away from that Lexian windshield.
That's exactly right. For the folks at home, there's actually 6 or 7 of those coatings on there. And on every 25 to 50 laps, whenever the pit stop is, we'll pull those off as the race goes on. And that helps the driver be able to see. So they were able to pull off a windshield coat. He could see through the mud because it was gone, other than just a little bit of damage.
So when Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s dad went through the grass, he didn't have these problems because they didn't have splitters on the cars that low.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. They were probably 5 inches off the ground, and they didn't have the shovel effect. It didn't stick out the front like you see on these cars today.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. was digging into the infield at Texas Motor Speedway. Well, tomorrow we turn the page to the track that's too tough to tame as we break down the difficulties the drivers face at Darlington. Plus, our state-by-state tour continues with a stop in South Carolina. Follow us on Twitter at NASCAR on NBC. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for joining us.